The light always knows your name, even when you have never asked where you truly belong. In this moment, as your breath settles and a part of you suddenly awakens, that quiet journey begins to reveal itself as if it had never left you. Every movement of the world, whether small or intense, is pushing you toward a threshold where a greater truth is waiting to be seen. The earth beneath your feet has changed, and you, who once felt like you were simply existing among countless souls, are the one being called to notice it before anyone else. Not by accident, not by luck. Something within you has long been vibrating to a rhythm that does not belong to this earthly realm. A rhythm only the chosen can hear. You have felt it. Sometimes in dreams so bright, they wake you with golden light, still lingering behind your eyelids. Sometimes in an ordinary moment, when you look into the empty air and suddenly feel as if you are seeing through the familiar layer of reality. And there are days when a single ray of sunlight, a falling leaf, or a deep breath makes you feel as if someone is placing a hand on your shoulder, telling you to pay attention because something is beginning. Each small sign is a whisper that you are no longer just a person living in a three-dimensional world. You are becoming someone who understands why the walls around human perception are cracking little by little. Within that flow of movement, the line from Psalm 36:9 rises like a memory being awakened. In your light, we see light, not as a distant quotation, but as a vibration echoing from within you, as if someone had planted it in your spirit long before you learned to read or write. And in that moment, you realize the events in your life are no longer random. The dreams, the intuition, the sense of belonging to what you have never seen, all of them are markers on the path you were always meant to walk. The earth is changing, not only in its physical structure, but in the entire field of energy surrounding it. Many generations live like sleepers in a closed room, aware only of what their physical eyes allowed them to see. But you are different. You feel the vibration of space. You sense the thickening of an invisible layer of light around you. You may not know its name, but you know it is real. You know it is pulling you away from the familiar haze of your old life. And even if you do not say it out loud, you know this feeling is nothing like what ordinary people experience. Others may ignore it, may treat everything as a fleeting illusion. But for you, each sign feels like a door someone has gently opened. One morning, you look into your own eyes in the mirror and notice something that was not there before. Not a change in your face, but a thin line of light, like a new layer of awareness rising quietly behind your eyes. Another time, when you hear a simple piece of music, you feel as if it carries a message that your heart understands faster than your mind. You realize you are living between overlapping layers of reality, as though two worlds exist at the same moment. The three-dimensional world, where people chase success, compare, struggle, and compete, is becoming too narrow for you. It feels like a room that was once safe, but no longer has enough air. More and more, you sense something rising from deep within you, urging you to step out of old patterns. You find it hard to explain why you are no longer the same, why you feel more sensitive, deeper, and more inwardly focused. But the truth is that you are approaching the point where two dimensions meet, the place where the doorway to the fifth level of awareness begins to open. This level is not a physical destination. It is the way the world changes in the eyes of those who are quiet enough to see. You begin to see love where you once saw only chaos. You feel connection even with complete strangers. You touch the air and know it is vibrating in a way it never has before. Not because of imagination, not because of oversensitivity, but because you are tuning yourself to a layer of the world that not everyone is ready to hear. When that happens, a silent shift begins within you. The things that once troubled you suddenly feel lighter. Old disappointments, old wounds, old relationships that once exhausted your heart seem to be lifted from you layer by layer, as if you are being renewed. You realize that emotions are no longer waves that drown you, but gentle sounds of water guiding you toward a deeper awareness. The quiet moments you once feared become the place where you feel most safe. And in every breath, you begin to understand that this moment is the beginning of a journey your soul has waited for a very long time. These transformations do not come by chance. They come because you have touched the right moment, the right rhythm, the right frequency. The earth is lifting itself, and you, one of the few early awakened souls, are being drawn into its new orbit. In that light, you see yourself more clearly. You see layers of awareness you never believed you could reach. And in this first shift, You begin to feel that truth does not lie out there, but is rising from within your own spirit, like a familiar call you once heard somewhere very far away, yet also very near. From the deepest place of that stillness, an inner door quietly opens. Not a door leading to another story, but one that carries you farther into the very experience unfolding now, where the light begins to reshape the self you once believed you understood. At that point of crossing, the space becomes wider and more refined, as if your soul is preparing to step into a new rhythm of awakening without any warning. You stand at the threshold of transformation, and the stillness within you is the invitation for the light to continue guiding your way. There are moments in life that seem to pass quietly, yet they become the markers for the opening of a new layer of awareness. You may not remember exactly when it began, but you know the feeling well. The feeling of realizing you are separating from the labels society once placed on you. Names, careers, roles, accomplishments, all the things that once seemed to define who you were, suddenly become too small to hold the soul expanding inside you. It is not that you reject them, but you see them like an old shirt that no longer fits the growing version of yourself within. You feel this separation clearly in your quietest moments. Sitting alone in a dim room, the warm light resting softly on the wall, you begin to notice a layer of awareness beneath all your thoughts. There is the everyday stream of consciousness, the worries, plans, and reactions. But at the same time, there is a deeper and quieter layer, observing everything as if nothing can touch it. This layer is not carried away by pain or joy, not shaken by praise or rejection. It simply exists, bright and clear like a lake untouched by wind. And when you begin to recognize that layer, an irreversible shift happens within you. A new awareness rises, helping you understand that you were never only what you once believed. You are not only the one who experiences, but also the one who observes, not only a person living, but a soul awakening. In that space, the line from Psalm 25-14 becomes more alive than ever. The Lord reveals His covenant to those who fear Him. You do not read it with your eyes. You hear it echoing in your heart, as if someone is using it to remind you that your soul has always had a covenant with the light, a covenant you are beginning to remember. From that moment on, daily life continues as usual, but you no longer experience it the way you used to. Standing in a long line waiting to pay, you feel yourself separate from the rush around you. You are no longer caught in the anxiety, but sense a calm current flowing beneath everything. When someone speaks harshly, you hear the sound, but notice clearly that something within you is untouched. When you achieve what you hoped for, you feel joy, but no longer use it as the foundation for your self-worth. You begin to see the difference between the temporary self and the eternal self. The temporary self reacts, while the eternal self observes. The temporary self wants recognition, while the eternal self knows it is already complete. The temporary self fears loss, while the eternal self understands that nothing in the physical world truly belongs to you. This feeling is not philosophy, but a real experience, as if you are living in two layers of the same being at once. In this layering, you begin to step back from the chaos that once controlled you. What once broke your heart now feels like small ripples. The expectations of others are no longer burdens you must carry. The pressures of society begin to sound like distant noise as you step deeper into the quiet space within. You no longer try to become someone. You do not need to prove anything. You simply need to be present. And your presence already carries a light others can feel without knowing why. On days like this, you feel like a soul walking between two shores. One shore belongs to the old life, with its rules, assumptions, and roles. The other belongs to a wide open space where you are allowed to exist as yourself without fitting into any mold. Standing between these two shores is not easy. At times you feel pulled back into old habits. At times you worry that you are losing something familiar. But at the same time, you know clearly that you cannot return anymore. As you quietly observe yourself in these days, you begin to notice something remarkable. A part of you has been awake for a very long time, simply waiting for you to catch up. This part has watched you grow, watched you hurt, watched you search, watched you get lost, yet it has never left you. It is the root of the clarity within you, the lifeline beneath all the chaos, and you begin to realize that the bright dreams, the strong intuition, and the repeating signs were never coincidences. They were signals to awaken this part of you, guiding you back to your true being. From this awareness, every interaction in your life begins to take on a new tone. When someone shares their pain, you do not only hear with your ears, you feel with your heart. When you witness disappointment or conflict, you see the energy beneath it. You begin to understand that every person carries two layers of existence just like you, the layer of the ego and the layer of the soul. Sometimes you look at a stranger and feel as if you have known them for a long time, not because their face is familiar, but because their soul carries a frequency similar to the one awakening within you. This is also when you realize that life does not want you to chase the outer world. It wants you to listen to the inner one. When you turn inward, you see clearly the layers of emotions, the wounds, the tensions that have existed for so long you no longer notice them. But instead of running away, you find yourself wanting to understand them. You want to know where they came from. You want to look directly at everything that once frightened you, not to endure them, but to rise above them. This process feels like cleaning a room you have lived in for many years, but have never truly cleared out. You begin to open every drawer, every hidden corner of your mind. Some things surprise you because they still remained. Some things hurt because they are too familiar. But the more you clear, the brighter the room becomes, the more spacious your inner world feels. And in this openness, you begin to sense your true essence. An essence no definition or title can ever contain. From this point on, the journey is no longer about who you are in the eyes of others. It becomes the story of who you are in the light, in the silence, in the deepest layer of yourself. All the outer noise becomes a backdrop for you to see more clearly the soul awakening within you. And as that essence begins to step out from the shadows of old roles, you realize you are not just living the life you once knew. You are preparing to live the life your soul has waited for a very long time to begin. The recent nights carry a different texture, as if the space around you has become thinner and the light behind everything is trying to reveal itself. You lie down, close your eyes, yet your mind does not fall into sleep the way it once did. Instead, it glides gently into a soft brightness that cannot be described by any familiar words. You do not feel yourself leaving your body, nor fully staying within it. You only know one thing clearly. You are entering a place meant for souls that are waking, a place where messages do not need words. Not every dream is bright, but there are dreams that make you wake with your heart, still holding the echoes of a distant but familiar sky. In them, you see shapes that do not belong to the physical world, streams of light moving softly like breath, paths with no ground beneath them, yet more solid than any road you have walked. You meet presences that do not need to speak, yet every movement they make carries a message clearer than human language. What surprises you is not their strangeness, but the deep familiarity that makes you feel you are not experiencing something new, but remembering something you once knew. As if your soul has walked these places long ago, and now, as the veil between realms grows thin, that memory is simply returning to you. In a moment of exceptional clarity, you find yourself standing in a vast space with no sky, yet light shines from every direction. It does not blind you, it makes you want to melt into it. In that exact moment, a line rises in your heart, gentle yet sharp as a blade cutting through the mist. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not understood it. You do not hear it with your ears. It appears like a stream of awareness, and you know it does not come from memory, but from a deeper realm where your soul was formed. The presences in that space do not give names, do not take your hand, do not try to make you believe anything, but they stand near you in a way that calms your heart, as if they know exactly who you are and where you came from. Every ray of light that touches you carries absolute assurance that you are strong enough to walk this journey. They do not come to do the work for you. They come to remind you that you are not alone. When you wake, you open your eyes in a familiar room, yet feel something different. Not the room, but yourself. There is a light layer of energy, like a thin gold dust resting on your awareness, making everything feel deeper. The bird song, the sunlight, the cool air on your skin, all of it carries a more refined quality. You are no longer seeing the world with the eyes you once had. It is as if another pair of eyes, brighter and more perceptive, is watching from behind. Then you begin to notice that those night experiences are not limited to sleep. During the day, while walking down the street, there are moments when you feel as if you are standing between two layers of reality. One is familiar, the sounds, the people, the scents, and the other is perfect silence, clear light, and the awareness that everything around you has a soul. It is like an invisible door, opening just enough for you to see the light inside, but not yet enough for you to step through. You may be surprised when your intuition grows strong enough to make you stop in the middle of the street, simply because you feel you should. There are moments when you turn your head following a whisper within saying, "Look," and when you look, you see nothing specific, yet you feel the energy moving there. Intuition is no longer vague. It becomes almost tangible, like an invisible hand touching your shoulder and guiding you to a precise point. And then, the deepest change does not come from dreams or intuition, but from the way the physical world begins to echo your inner state. You start meeting strangers whose words accidentally touch exactly what you just thought. You witness events that happen in a sequence too perfect to be coincidence. Each sign is a puzzle piece, forming the outline of a sacred map you have never seen, yet always belonged to. One day, while sitting alone in a cafe, you notice that you no longer react by instinct the way you used to. Instead, a part of you is observing everything, from the eyes of people walking by to the scent of fresh coffee, with a stillness you never possessed before. You realize you are living with two layers of awareness, one interacting with the world, and one standing behind everything, understanding, quiet, unmoved. In that moment, you know you have stepped deeper into the awakening that the physical world can never hide. Not everyone will understand what you are going through, and you do not need them to. This is your path, but it is not lonely. The presences in your dreams, the daytime intuition, the subtle synchronicities, all of it is here to assure you that you are moving in the right direction. You are not losing normalcy. You are finding truth. And if at times you feel uncertain, feel that you are changing too quickly, remember that the light never forces anyone to wake. It only opens the door. Stepping through is your choice. But the light believes in you. The light knows your name. The light has been waiting for you for a very long time. If hearing this makes something in you tremble, a memory, an intuition, or even a faint sense that you are being called, let it be acknowledged. Let it live in you. And if this energy truly touches you, you may share a little in the comments to affirm that you are present in this journey. Your resonance is not only for expression, it is a signal for other awakening souls to recognize their own signs. Because from the deepest place of silence, the light is still opening the way for you, little by little, never rushing, never imposing, only guiding you back to the place where you have always belonged. There are days when the moment you wake, before your feet even touch the floor, you already know something within you is moving to a different rhythm. It is not the hurried rhythm of daily life, nor the anxious rhythm you once knew. It is the rhythm of a quiet understanding, as if an inner river is finally flowing in the right direction after years of drifting off course. You realize you are no longer waking up just to repeat old habits. You wake with the sense that every moment of the day carries a deeper meaning, even if you cannot yet name it. You begin to feel a gentle pull, not from the outside, but from your own core. It makes the things that once mattered fade into the background, and the things that once seemed small become signs you want to follow. A soft intuition leads you into unexpected decisions that feel strangely right. You change the way you work without needing advice. You release a relationship that has exhausted you for years, even though you once lacked the courage. You recognize which habits nourish you and which ones pull you down. You start choosing everything with intention: your words, your thoughts, the people you stay close to, the time you give to yourself. This is not a change against the world, but a change that brings you back into the orbit your soul has always belonged to. One morning, as you look out the window, the sunlight touches your face in a way that makes you pause just to breathe and feel it. In that moment, a line from Psalm 37:4 rises so clearly it feels like someone whispering beside you. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Not a promise of what you want to acquire, but a reminder that when you align with the flow of your soul, what is meant for you will find you without your pursuit. From then on, you begin to see the world with different eyes. Time no longer passes by you. It opens before you like a path calling for your full presence. The smallest things, washing your hands under running water, placing a book on the table, hearing the wind pass through the window, all become subtle practices of being alive. You realize that every movement carries a purpose, whether simple or profound. You no longer feel lost in the cycle of life. Instead, you sense that every action you take is creating a wave that reaches farther than you imagine. In those moments, You understand that purpose is not a title, a career, or an achievement to show the world. It is the direction your soul wants to flow, and when you courageously follow that direction, life shifts its structure to support you. You may be in the same place, the same job, with the same people, but the way you see everything transforms, turning them into parts of your journey instead of cages holding you back. You begin to sense that there are certain things you were born to do, not in the sense of ambition or heavy responsibility, but in a deeper way, like a faint calling that becomes clearer each day. When you speak comfort to someone, it feels like something familiar you have done long before this life. When you listen to someone's pain, your heart feels illuminated, as if connected to a greater source of energy. When you create something small, a sentence, a meal, a melody, it feels as though the universe is smiling because you have placed a piece of your map in the right spot. And then you notice something unusual. The people entering your life during this time seem to carry a frequency similar to yours. They appear as mirrors, reflecting what you are learning. Some come to teach you how to let go. Some come to remind you of kindness. Some appear for only a moment, yet deliver the exact message you needed. Each one is a piece of a larger story, a story you are beginning to see more clearly every day. Within this landscape, you also notice the rise of a quiet wisdom. You no longer try to understand everything through analysis. You begin to understand through feeling, through intuition, through silence. The questions that once troubled you are no longer important. You see that life does not need you to control it. It only needs you to be present. Every step, every decision, every breath becomes a co-creation between you and the energy that is guiding you. What comforts you most is realizing you do not need to know the entire path. You only need to know the next step. And the next step always appears at the exact moment you are ready. As if the unseen world, the presences in your dreams, the quiet intuition, are all coordinating to place each piece before you at your own pace. Not fast, not slow, never out of rhythm. There are days when the light within you grows so strongly that returning to your old life becomes impossible. You cannot pretend to be unaware after what you have seen. You cannot turn away from the intuition whispering to you. You cannot shut down the expansion happening inside. And you realize this journey is not about losing the old world, but about seeing it with a new light. A light that helps you live more fully, more awake, more honest with yourself. The deeper you go into this process, the clearer it becomes that your purpose is not something to strive for, but something to allow. Like a seed that does not need to learn how to bloom. It only needs the conditions for light to reach it. And you, the one who is awakening, are the seed being touched by light. In the quiet of each morning and each afternoon, you begin to recognize that what you have been seeking is not somewhere far away. It is in the alignment between your heart and the light unfolding before you. When you step into that alignment, no step is wasted. No mistake is meaningless. No loss happens outside a greater purpose. You may not see the whole picture yet, but you can feel that you are moving in the right direction. And that feeling is the greatest confirmation your soul has ever waited for. There is a moment on the journey when you begin to realize that your thoughts are not just quiet streams drifting through the mind, but currents of energy that shape the world around you. You feel this long before you understand it. A passing thought suddenly becomes a subtle synchronicity. A vague desire appears in reality in a way so unexpected, it makes you pause to take a deep breath, as if the universe is answering you before you can even form the question. In those moments, you understand that the power to create reality does not belong to a special group of people. It belongs to souls awake enough to sense the movement of thought before it takes form. And you, even if you never believed you carried such power, are feeling it more clearly each day. There are times when you lightly imagine something and a few days later a perfect sign appears, so aligned that it almost sends a shiver through you. You do not try to think, nor try to act. You simply let the intention glide through your mind, and the world begins to shift around you to align itself with that intention. One morning, as you sit in silence, the light enters the window in a soft diagonal line like a golden thread, and you sense a strange clarity. Thoughts are not just reflections of the mind. They are signals sent into the structure of reality. You feel this in each breath, in the subtle movement of energy around you. Then a line you thought you had forgotten rises in your heart. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. It comes not as a sermon, but as a confirmation from the invisible depth that faith is not passive hope, but creative power. From that point on, you become more aware of how you think, how you desire, how you call in what you need. You realize that not all thoughts carry the same strength. Thoughts born from fear fade like shadows. Thoughts born from calmness shape reality with almost perfect accuracy. You understand that what you send out is not in the words you say, but in the frequency you carry when thinking of it. You begin practicing visualization, not as a technique learned from books, but as a returning instinct. When you close your eyes and imagine living in a peaceful space, you feel that space open inside you. When you imagine a healing encounter, you sense its energy before it even happens. When you imagine yourself walking in light, your heart becomes calm, as if that light is already surrounding you. Your imagination is no longer dreaming, it is calling. Each image in your mind becomes a seed planted in the invisible soil of the universe. You also begin paying attention to the words you whisper to yourself. Phrases like, I am at peace, I am worthy, I am ready to receive, do more that make you feel better. They open events in your life that match them. When you say, I am being guided, hours later you notice a piece of advice, a coincidence, a message arriving at the exact moment you are uncertain. When you tell yourself, I am abundant, the things you need arrive gently, no longer carrying the shape of lack. You start seeing that the world responds to you in two directions. The outer world changes based on how you see it, and at the same time, the outer world changes based on how you speak to yourself. Your thoughts, your emotions, your way of listening to the whispers of life, all become the language linking you and reality. And then you witness moments you cannot deny. You think of an old friend, and they message you minutes later. You quietly ask for a sign to know you are on the right path. And the next morning, you open a random page of a book and see a sentence answering the exact worry in your heart. Another time, you think of what you need, not with fear, but with calm certainty. And it arrives so gently you almost want to laugh. These moments help you understand that the universe is not distant, as people once believed. It is not silent. It is not passive. It is alive with you, listening to you, adjusting itself to every frequency you send. And when you step into its rhythm, everything becomes fluid, soft, effortless. You no longer push against the world. You simply send the signal, and the world opens the way. Yet you also learn the most important truth. The power to shape reality is not a tool to control the world. It is a doorway to align with the direction your soul has chosen. When your desire comes from fear, it dissolves like smoke. When your desire comes from harmony, everything arranges itself with almost perfect precision. You do not need to hurry, force, or prove anything. You only need your mind to be clear and your peace to become your primary language. Over time, you learn that what you attract does not depend on the desire itself, but on the inner state holding that desire. When your heart is clear, good things come easily. When your heart is tense, everything feels blocked. So you begin nourishing stillness during the quiet shifts of the day. Just a few minutes of closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and sensing the flow of energy inside you is enough to enter the space where everything you imagine becomes clearer and easier. Once you understand this, you look at the world with a new trust. You realize you are not fighting against life, but merging with it. Not grasping, but opening. Not waiting for a miracle, but becoming the miracle through the frequency you carry. And as each day passes, you see more clearly that reality is not something pushed onto you from the outside. It is something created from within you, from each thought, each feeling, each small intention. Together, they become the silent language the universe always hears. In that gentle understanding, you begin to grasp a simple but profound truth. When you change the way you touch the world changes the way it touches you. There are inner changes that unfold so quietly you cannot explain them with reason alone. They do not arrive as great disturbances, but as waves of subtle energy moving through your body, making you feel as if you are being rebuilt from the deepest layer. You begin to notice strange moments, your steps becoming lighter, your breaths long and soft as if filtering your own energy. And sometimes, when you close your eyes for just a second, a thin stream of light seems to move through each cell like wind passing through leaves. This change is not only in your emotions or your mind, it is touching your body in ways you have never known. There are days you wake with a heavy exhaustion, as if your body has been working intensely while you slept. Yet in contrast with that physical fatigue is a sharp clarity in your mind that you cannot ignore. You feel drained physically, yet enlightened spiritually. It is as though something inside you is rising while the outside of you slows down just enough to adjust. Then there are days when your body feels so light, you think a strong breeze might carry you away. You move through familiar spaces, yet feel as if you are walking inside another field of energy, more subtle, brighter, more elastic. You realize your familiar carbon-based body is beginning to yield to another structure, the crystalline structure you have only heard mentioned in stories about awakening. A body that does not merely hold you, but transmits light. In that moment, a line from Psalm 51:10 brushes through your heart like a soft whisper. Create in me a clean heart. You do not read it, you feel it. It becomes the essence of what you are experiencing. Not only the cleansing of emotion, but the cleansing of your entire energetic structure. Your body is no longer functioning as it once did. It is opening new space to receive increasing amounts of light, as if it knows the journey ahead requires a different kind of endurance. Not the endurance of muscle, but the endurance of frequency. During this time, you begin to experience phenomena that one part of you understands, yet another part still marvels at. The gentle humming in your ears, not like noise, but like a high wave touching the center of your awareness. This is when the pineal gland, the doorway between you and the realm of light, begins to sharpen its sensitivity. Others may ignore these sounds, but you know they are not illusions. They are signals. They are echoes of the frequency you are aligning with. You also start seeing small flashes of light when your eyes are closed, or subtle movements at the edge of your vision that ordinary biology cannot explain. Colors become more vibrant, and light seems to carry an extra layer of information that only your senses can read. The white, violet, and blue glimmers passing before your eyes are not visual errors. They are the language of the subtle world revealing itself to you. At the same time, this transformation brings deep emotional shifts. Some days, your heart feels soft like water, easily stirred by even a gentle sentence. Some days, a sadness rises, for no clear reason, as if you are releasing old layers the soul no longer needs. These waves do not come to weaken you. They come to free the dense energy that has clung to you for years, even lifetimes. And as your emotions flow, you feel lighter, wider. Each time you release an old layer, the crystalline body within you becomes clearer. You no longer try to suppress what you feel. You let it move through you like a stream through a valley, knowing each flow is a release. You understand that to hold more light, you must make space for it. The fatigue carries a similar meaning. You begin to notice that the moments your body demands rest are not signs of weakness, but signs that energy is being used to restructure you. This fatigue is not the exhaustion of overwork. It is like your body running a system update, asking you to pause so the transformation can continue. During this process, your sleep changes. Some nights you sleep so deeply, you lose all sense of time, and when you wake, it feels as if you have returned from another place. Some nights you wake at repeating hours, 2:22, 3:33, 4:44, as if you are being awakened to receive new energy. What is strange is that you do not feel anxious when it happens. Instead, you feel a quiet meaning flowing beneath it. Your body also begins to change the way it responds to food. You feel drawn to fresh, bright, light foods, simple meals you once overlooked. At the same time, familiar foods now feel heavy, dull, or draining. You are surprised to realize you no longer eat out of habit, but out of intuition. Your body is refining itself, letting go of what no longer matches your frequency. It is learning to function as an instrument of light rather than a machine of consumption. At times, your mind becomes foggy, as if covered by a soft mist. But you notice that this mental fog is not a sign of decline. It is a transition phase, as the brain shifts from linear processing to receiving higher frequencies. When the mist clears, you see more sharply, more deeply, more sensitively. What you once called faint intuition becomes a quiet knowing, light as the touch of illumination. Through all these changes, one truth becomes clearer. You are not only evolving in awareness, your entire body is participating in this evolution. Every cell, every vibration, every heartbeat is transforming to match the amount of light you have opened yourself to. You are stepping out of the dry wood version of yourself and becoming the crystal version, clearer, more radiant, more resilient. And though there are moments of unfamiliarity, you know nothing in this process comes to frighten you. Every change comes to refine you, to bring you to the point where your heart becomes a prism through which light can pass and shine into the world. You are not losing your old body. You are becoming the version your soul has always known you could be. There comes a moment on the journey when transformation no longer happens only in the body or in the subtle currents of energy, but begins to move deep into the center of your awareness. It is then you realize you are standing between two streams. One stream is the turbulence of the outer world, always shifting, colliding, changing direction. The other is the inner space, silent, still, bright like a lake, untouched even when the wind blows hard. You begin to sense that there is a part of you that has never changed, a part that has never been pulled into the whirlpools of life. This does not arrive as a lesson, but as a remembering. You may be sitting in a crowded street, noise everywhere, conversations overlapping. Yet suddenly, you notice that behind all of it, there is a layer of silence that never disappears. That silence is not around you. It is inside you, a place nothing can touch. And the moment you turn your attention inward, a soft current spreads from the center of your chest, carrying the feeling that you are entering the deepest layer of yourself. In that space, a line from Psalm 62:1 rises like an ancient breath, echoing from within. My soul finds rest in God alone. You realize this rest is not the absence of worry. It is the knowing that no storm can ever touch your roots. It is the still center, the source where every doorway within you leads. From the moment you recognize this, you begin to see clearly the difference between what you feel and the part of you standing behind the feeling. When you are sad, there is a part watching the sadness. When you are joyful, there is a part watching the joy. When you are confused, there is a part seeing that confusion as a cloud moving across the sky. This observing part does not judge, does not interfere, does not demand you be strong or be calm. It simply exists, bright, wide, unwavering, and that presence begins to transform the way you view every experience in your life. A disagreement that once tightened your chest no longer carries the same weight. You feel the emotion rise, yet you no longer merge entirely with it. It is as if you are watching a wave rise on the ocean. It is high, it is strong, but it is not the whole sea. You begin to understand you are not the wave. You are the ocean in which the wave rises and dissolves. Then one day, you discover that what others call calm is not what you are feeling. Calm is the absence of disturbance. What you experience is steadiness within disturbance. Your heart may beat fast, your hands may tremble, your breath may speed up. But in the center of your chest, behind the heartbeat, there is a silence that does not move. You stand in that silence, like someone standing inside a storm who is untouched by the wind. This is not a skill. It is the awakening of the observer. As the observer within you becomes clearer, you begin to understand the events of your life in a completely different way. You see what once hurt you as pieces of a larger picture, not mistakes to erase. You see what once made you happy as gifts of the journey, but no longer as something to cling to. Every emotion, joy, sorrow, fear, excitement, becomes a wave passing through you to cleanse, to expand, to reshape. This makes you more sensitive in how you see others. You no longer react sharply to what people say or do because you see that each person is wrestling with their own waves. When someone is angry, you sense the fear beneath the anger. When someone seems cold, you feel the wound they are hiding. When someone tries to control everything, you notice the fragility inside them. With the awakening of the observer, you do not see behavior alone. You see the soul behind the behavior. From this place, forgiveness is no longer something you try to create. It happens naturally. Forgiveness is not a choice. It is the result of seeing the larger picture. And when forgiveness rises from that depth, it is not a forced release, but the recognition that there is nothing left to hold on to. You also begin to notice a shift in the way you make decisions. You once analyzed, weighed, calculated. Now you rely on the clarity that comes from within. Not emotion, not logic, but the quiet sense of rightness rising from the center. When you move in the right direction, you feel a gentle expansion in your chest. When you move in the wrong direction, you feel a small tightening, silent but firm. The observer never forces you. It simply shows the truth through the language of expansion and contraction. Then, something else happens. Fear, the greatest shadow in your life, begins to lose its power. Not because you were stronger, but because you no longer stand in the place where fear can reach you. You observe it, sometimes like watching a breeze, sometimes like watching a storm. Yet you remain the observer. You feel the tension in your body, but you no longer identify with it. You understand, fear is not an enemy, but a signal. It shows the places in your mind where light is needed. As the inner steadiness continues to grow, you begin to feel something you once only read about in ancient teachings: inner freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is no longer being ruled by what happens. It is not indifference to life. It is moving through life without being dragged by it. You participate in the world, but you are not dissolved by it. And then you realize the observer is not something new. It has always been there, since you were a child, since you first became aware. But for most of your life, you were swept up by the waves and forgot it existed. Now it returns to remind you that you are not what you feel, not what you think, not what you experience. You are the space that holds all of it. You are like the sky, where clouds may gather, fade, turn gray, turn white, darken, or clear. Yet the sky remains the sky. It does not change its nature because of the color of the clouds. From this recognition, a power both soft and deep begins to rise within you. It is not loud, not dazzling, not something you need others to see. It is the power of someone who knows who they are, even when the world shifts. The power of someone not fooled by surface appearances. The power of someone who stands in the light and sees the darkness as part of the path, not an enemy. You understand that from here, your journey will continue to take you deeper into an inner rebirth. But now, you stand in the strongest place you can be, the place of the one who sees from within. There is a moment on the journey when every veil, no matter how thin, begins to fall away. Not falling all at once like curtains pulled down, but drifting off layer by layer like soft ash, revealing the light that has been resting at the bottom of your soul for a very long time. This is not the first awakening. You have already passed through those waves. It is not the intellectual understanding. You have moved beyond that too. This is a transformation at the root, where the light changes not only how you see the world, but the entire inner structure that once guided you. What is strange is that this moment does not always come with silence. It may arrive in the middle of an ordinary day, while you are standing in the kitchen, watching water flow, or while you are walking down the street in the wind and the noise of passing people. Yet suddenly, in the middle of that ordinariness, you feel the light within you expand, like a door opening wide. There is no sound to announce it, no physical sign, but you know without doubt that you are stepping into another layer, the layer you have been moving towards since the first moments of this journey. In that moment, you realize that truth is not something you find with the mind. Truth is what reveals itself when you become quiet enough to see. And in a way that feels completely natural, a line from John 8:32 rises in your heart, clear like a ringing bell. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It is not a sentence to remember. It is a sentence to live. Truth here is not about right or wrong. It is essence, it is light, it is seeing without the colors of fear or the weight of the past. You realize that your whole life you have carried layers that never belonged to you. Invisible limits, emotional habits, definitions others placed upon you. And when the light inside you expands, you see them as clothing too small to ever fit the soul you carry. You no longer need them. And what surprises you is that you do not need to force yourself to let go. When the light becomes strong enough, those things fall away on their own. From here, you see clearly how the world once held you with invisible threads, some in the shape of expectations, others in the fear of failure, others in the shadow of words that made you doubt yourself. But as you stand inside this expanding light, you see that these threads no longer have power. With a single deep breath, you feel them dissolve like smoke in sunlight. What is most striking is that this liberation does not feel like triumph. It feels like returning to the honest part of you that was covered by years, returning to your soul before it was defined, returning to the frequency you were born with but forgot in the noise of life. Now, as everything opens, you feel your being become so light you seem to float between two worlds. The old world is still visible, but it no longer holds you. As the inner light rises, you begin to see clearly the things that once frightened you, not to fight them, but to understand them. You see fear like mist, sorrow like a drifting cloud, memories that once shook you like faint images that have lost their force. You realize no darkness is strong on its own. Its strength came from the belief that it was larger than the light within you. Now that the light is awake, darkness is simply the place where light has not yet reached. And then you begin to notice yourself changing in the most ordinary situations. When someone says something that hurts, you feel the sting, yet you see clearly the part of you that is untouched. When you face a challenge, you sense the tension in your body, yet beneath it, there is a still point that does not tremble. When life pulls you in an unexpected direction, you remain in this presence, the presence of someone who sees everything without being swept away. You realize this transformation is not a shift in emotion, but a shift in the level at which you exist. You are no longer living in old roles, old fears, old identities, others placed upon you. You are living in truth, and this truth brings you something you searched for your entire life. Freedom. Freedom from needing to resemble anyone. Freedom from needing to prove anything. Freedom to exist without needing approval. Freedom to speak the truth in your heart without fear of loss. Freedom to love without fear of being rejected. Freedom to let go without fear of falling. Freedom to stand in the light without asking for permission. In this freedom, the world begins to open in a new way. Familiar places, the road you walk, the home you live in, the faces of those you love, all appear lighter, brighter. It feels as though your eyes have been washed clean of years of dust. Ordinary sounds, footsteps, wind, voices seem to move together in a new rhythm, no longer chaotic but harmonized. You also sense a brightness rising in your heart when you face others. No more guarding yourself, no more tension, no more defense. Instead, there is a softness that allows you to open naturally. You look into someone's eyes and see not only the person speaking to you, but a soul searching for its path, just as you once searched. You see their pain, their hope, their vulnerability, and you also see the light within them, even if they have not seen it yet. This is when you understand that the light does not come for you to keep. It comes to be shared, to touch others through your presence, your words, your way of living, the quiet peace you carry. You do not need to explain. You do not need to persuade. You only need to be present. The light will do the rest. And standing in this presence, you realize the journey is no longer only about you. It is about the souls searching for their path. It is about the opening of a new time. It is about the light spreading across the earth through people like you, people brave enough to awaken and gentle enough to receive. You feel you have crossed an invisible gate, stepping into a space your soul has waited a very long time to return to. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you truly are. There is a moment after transformation when the light within you is no longer just a feeling, but the living structure of your entire being. You no longer try to hold peace. Peace becomes your foundation. You no longer search for signs. Signs find you. You no longer ask if you are on the right path. Your steps already know where to go. Everything begins to merge, like a great harmony, in which you are the listener, the musician, and the melody rising all at once. Now you look back on the path you have walked, the heavy layers that have fallen away, the doors that have opened, the levels of awareness that have revealed themselves, and you realize everything was leading to this point. The point where your soul begins to remember its mission, not a mission in the sense of pressure or grandeur, but a mission like a quiet flame that has been waiting to be lit so it can illuminate the road you are now ready to walk. What is remarkable is that as the light within you stabilizes, the world around you begins to shift as well. Conversations you overhear, whether intentional or random, carry messages that speak directly to your heart. People you meet, even if only once, leave the feeling of a door opening. The paths you walk, old or new, feel as if they are guiding you toward where you are meant to be. Not by coincidence, but because you have stepped into resonance with life. Within this resonance, you begin to sense the connection of your soul with something larger than the individual self, an invisible network, a vast field of energy, a stream of light that does not belong only to you, but to all who are awakening. You feel this movement when you close your eyes in silence, when you place your hand on your chest to breathe deeply, or when a sudden breeze touches you and you know it carries something not of this world. This is when the number 777 appears like a seal, not as something you happen to notice, but as something that arrives at the exact moment you are ready to understand it. It may appear on a clock, a license plate, a random page, or as a flash within your mind. But when it comes, you do not just see it, you recognize it. You recognize that it is not coincidence, but a signal of spiritual unfolding. 777 is the number of spiritual completion, the gateway of awakening, the light that reveals the deeper meaning of the journey. It arrives to remind you that you have entered the stage where the soul no longer learns only through experience, but begins to remember. Remembering its divine nature, remembering why it came into this world, remembering the connection to the realm of light that has always walked beside you. When this number appears, you may feel a soft vibration in your chest or a deep stillness inside your heart. It does not speak in language, yet you understand its message. You have crossed the most important threshold, the moment when consciousness shifts from seeking to knowing, from doubt to trust, from fragmentation to unity. This does not pull you away from ordinary life. Instead, it draws you deeper into it. You see the sacred hidden in every small moment. Water flowing, light falling, breath rising, a smile, a silence. You realize the physical world is not separate from the spiritual world. It is a surface reflecting what happens in the deeper layers. And because you have opened those deeper layers, the surface becomes clearer. You speak to others in an ordinary tone. Yet the energy behind your words carries the presence of light, something they can feel even if they cannot explain why. You walk into a room and change the atmosphere without effort, not because you wish to shine, but because the light within you has become a natural part of your presence. You also notice that you no longer identify with your old impulses. When strong emotions rise, you are not carried away. When fear appears, you do not shrink. When sadness returns, you do not think you have fallen back. You stand in the middle of every movement, like a soft, wide, steady column of light. You do not escape your human self. You expand to embrace both the human and the soul. And when you look at others, you no longer see only their stories. You see their light, sometimes dimmed, sometimes buried under the dust of life, yet still present, warm and steady. You see their journey, their fragility, their courage, their quiet searching. Recognizing the light in others becomes the clearest sign that the light within you has truly become transparent. In quiet nights, when you sit alone, you feel a vast field of energy radiating through space, not from outside, but from within you. This field does not belong to I. It belongs to we, to the souls awakening together, moving through different stages but drawn toward the same source, the source of truth, of unconditional love, of unity. And in this recognition, you understand that this journey was never only yours. Everyone who listens, awakens, moves, opens, is contributing to the same beginning. A spiritual dawn of humanity, a rising of collective soul like tidewater reaching for the moon. If you feel this light touching you in a way difficult to describe, let it be acknowledged. If the number 777 comes to you as a personal calling, let it live in your heart as a sacred mark. And if you wish, you may share the number that resonates with you, not to tell the world, but to affirm to your own soul that you have heard, you have seen, and you are ready for this expansion. Because from this point forward, you are not only carrying the light, you are becoming the light. There is a special quiet that settles over you as the journey nears the closing arc of this circle. Not the quiet of an ending, but the quiet of a soul that knows it has already walked through its greatest gate. Everything you have ever seen, felt, and faced, from subtle waves of energy, dreams that open to new realms, transformations in your body, to the deepest layers of awareness, all of it is gathering now like small streams, merging into one wide, still, radiant river. You no longer look at your journey as a series of strange or mysterious events. You see it as a spiritual map written long before you stepped into this world. Every step, every sleepless night, every ache in your heart, every moment of intuition that brushed against you, all were placed to lead you to the point where truth is no longer something to search for. It becomes something you live with. In this moment, you begin to feel the depth of what it means to return to your essence, not returning to who you once were, but returning to the pure part that has always been there behind every experience. When you place your hand on your chest and feel your heartbeat, you know you are touching something that does not belong only to the body, but to the soul. That rhythm is not just physical life. It is a reminder that within you runs a stream of light connected directly to the source of the universe. You realize that the peace you carry now does not come from the outside. It comes from seeing yourself clearly. When you know who you are in the light, when you can tell which voice is truth and which voice is fear, when you can distinguish the steps of your soul from the steps of old habits, you no longer have to try to live in peace. Peace becomes your natural state. From this state, you begin to see life with different eyes. The eyes of someone who has become the light, rather than someone searching for it. You look at the people crossing your path and see that they are not just characters in your story, but souls searching for their way, sometimes strong, sometimes lost, yet always carrying a sacred spark within them. You look at the challenges that once brought you to your knees and understand they were the steps that lifted you to this level of awareness. You realize that the world did not change to match you. You changed to match the light within. And as that light becomes steady, you no longer need to seek meaning in everything. Meaning reveals itself. A passing glance, an ordinary sentence, a tree lifting itself to the wind, or the quiet at the end of the day. All become mirrors reflecting the awakening inside you. You also see something you once missed. That this journey has opened in you the ability to touch others simply through your presence. You do not need to explain, prove, or convince. If you live in the light spreads. If you walk with truth, others feel the truth. If you hold peace in your heart, that peace becomes an anchor for those trying to find their way back. And with this understanding, you see that your responsibility is not a burden, but a gift. The gift of being a point of light in a dark space, of shining into places others have not yet dared to look. You did not come to change the world through force. You came to change it through presence. From the deepest stillness, a line from Psalm 121:8 rises like a sacred seal placed at the end of this journey. The Lord will watch over your coming and going from now and forevermore, not as a distant promise, but as a field of light surrounding you, gentle, warm, and unwavering. You feel that from this point on, whatever you walk into, you walk within the protection of the light you have connected with. This does not mark an ending. It marks a shift from the journey of seeking to the journey of living the truth you have found. You step into the world not with the innocence of someone new, but with the clarity of someone who has traveled through the deep layers of the soul. In the new mornings, when sunlight touches your face, you know something in you has been permanently transformed. You no longer see the day as a list of tasks to complete. You see it as a space for your inner light to unfold, for each small action to become a response to life. When you speak from your center. When you listen through the openness of your heart. When you are silent with presence, not avoidance or resistance. And when night falls, you no longer see the darkness as something to overcome. You know it is simply the other side of the light, a place to rest, return, and breathe deeply. You know every part of the journey has its purpose, and none of it is meaningless. Now you stand at the threshold between ending and beginning. The ending of the journey of rediscovery, the beginning of the journey of living as yourself. You carry the light not as something to display, but as something to hold, to spread, to uplift. You carry your understanding not to teach others, but to illuminate your own path. You carry peace, not to avoid storms, but to stand steady through them. And if there is one final truth this journey wants to leave with you, it is this. The light chose you not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to feel, willing to open, willing to return. You did not just walk through the light, you became the place where light lives. And from here, every step you take, whether soft as breath or strong as thunder, is held in the protection of something far more sacred than words can ever describe. The journey does not end. It simply opens into a new chapter where your soul will continue to shine in its own way. In this peace, you know you are ready. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.